They're up against a tight-fisted Leeds Rhinos side who've ground their way into a 10-0 lead. It hasn't been a spectacular cup tie. The conditions have mitigated against that. But Leeds have been very canny. Kicking game has been superb, and Hull really haven't managed to get a foothold.
Bill have been really clinical, Leeds Rhinos, with drives like this from Luluai. You look at the stats from the first half. Danny Houghton, 31 tackles. He's made more tackles in Super League than any other player. Joe Westerman, 29 tackles. They're coming up the middle. They're challenging Hull FC's big one, and they're also paying special attention to Jordan Abdul, young halfback, who's made 19.
Here's Brett Delaney.
Move. Wait, Danny, wait. Go.
The most appearances by an Australian in this competition. 4 Wembley finals for him. And Carl Ablett, there's so much experience in this Leeds Rhinos side. It is very difficult to imagine this team next season, Leeds, with the players who are going to be leaving.
Do you know, but isn't there some good youngsters as well? The likes of Ward, the likes of Sutcliffe, the likes of Ash Hanley. There's some talent that comes through the ranks and stays at the Leeds Rhinos. They don't want to go overseas. They're quite happy playing at Headingley.
Malloy and Garbutt, of course, joining Leeds next season. Hull,
well, it's another mistake.
Coming up with another error. Exactly the way they finished the first half.
Well, I talked about last week when they played, they were only completing at 64% in this first half. Just a nice, easy carry. You can see that Jordan Thompson, before he was even going to catch that ball, he was having a little look up at what was in front of him in Paul Layton, who's had some intimidating defence in that first half. You've got to focus on your job. Your job's to catch that ball, expect someone to get off the line and put pressure on you. And it's always difficult when you're bringing the ball away from your line, but you've got to make sure that you catch the ball first.
Home form is a worry for Hull FC. Just 3 wins from 8 in Super League. Here they are in the Challenge Cup quarter-finals, up against the holders, Leeds, with Kylie Luluai. Another one who'll be hanging his boots up come the end of this season. Rob Burrow, Sinfield, Hardacre, Joel Moon puts the brakes on and then strides through the middle. Joel Moon, really influential player. Paul Ayton, short pass from Ayton, finds Luluai. He's just short.
Just short.
I think he thought he got there, Kylie Luluai. Ayton, Hardacre bats it on to Ryan Hall. Hall sees Lynham facing him, so comes across the field. Here's Sinfield now. Sinfield for Watkins. Watkins shrugs him off and gets another Leeds try. The first of this second half. That's a hammer blow for Hull FC as Callum Watkins gets his 13th of the season. And all going according to plan for Brian McDermott and his Leeds Rhinos side. Callum Watkins, who got 2 tries in the cup win against the Giants back in May to set Leeds on the path, perhaps back to Wembley.
It was a good finish from Watkins, but a beautiful pass from Kevin Sinfield. I'm sure when we have a look at it, we'll see he runs past Callum Watkins, opens up the space. Ryan Hall picks up the loose pass. Finds his captain, Kevin Sinfield, and he's run past Callum Watkins. Opens up the defensive line. The tip on, it's a little bit loose, a little bit ad hoc at the minute. What are the reactions like? There you go, that's a wonderful pass. Gareth Ellis can't deny Callum Watkins the first try of the second half.
The Rhinos' top try scorer, taking it to 13 for the season. As Brian Carney said at the outset of this game, Callum Watkins, one of the most exciting talents in the British game, in the world game potentially. And Sinfield, formality for him. 16-0. Leeds Rhinos ahead here at the KC Stadium. And Callum Watkins with an incisive finish. And what a setback that is for Hull, because they needed a strong start to the second half.
Needed to start strong, to concede a try just on 2 minutes. He's got so much natural ability. Callum Watkins didn't score a try in 5 rounds in the Challenge Cup last year. He scored 3 in 2 rounds this year, so it's looking ominous for numberless sides round them. And when they're on top form and the players are playing well, seem to be buzzing off each other. They all want the ball. They all want to do that little bit of extra work to help get that result.
And it's the Leeds supporters. Well, they've been in pretty good voice all night, and Hull infuriated by another decision that goes against them.
Westerman pleading his innocence. Stevie Ward trying to find the floor. Danny Houghton up over the top. I think he's got a point there. That's spurted out. That could have been scrum down. And Brian McDermott says, let's take the two.
Well, they're taking the points, aren't they? Every time that there's a penalty and it's in striking distance, they're just going to keep knocking those over.
Why wouldn't you?
Westerman looking so frustrated, and these conditions, the ball is going to squirt out, isn't it? Surely that's a consequence. There's pressure in there, the ball's slippery.
Well, you get in, you squeeze on contact on you. That's exactly what Danny Houghton was doing.
Yeah, and I've been down at pitch side, and a lot of the Hull FC fans very frustrated with the decisions that aren't going for them. But let's hope the Hull FC players aren't getting frustrated. They need to stay on task, stay fixed on what they need to do to put pressure on Leeds Rhinos.
Kevin Sinfield getting ready for his rugby union career with a long distance penalty virtually from the halfway line to extend the Rhinos' leads. Oh, very nearly. And Ryan Hall very nearly there on the follow-up. Whiting claiming that ball as it ricocheted off the post. A let-off for Hull FC.
Well, the old crossbar challenge on that occasion. Ryan Hall pushed up. You can see it just didn't have the legs.
Was it the crossbar or the post? I think it was right on the angle.
Move, ball guys.
Crossbar.
Get him on Soccer AM. Danny Houghton. Will that give Hull a lift? A lucky break like that.
Well, they need a big 10 minutes here, because I think they need to build in a bit of confidence with the man who's got the ball now, Josh Bowden. He's come on, he's certainly tried to inspire his teammates from the bench, the young prop forward.
Jordan Abdul hoists that one, but again, Hardacre, bags of time for him to gather that one. Well, let's find out what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time. Here's Angela with the news.
Well, the Hull coach, Lee Radford, not very happy with some of the officials' decisions in that first half, but he's looking for more improvement, really, from his own team. He says that the effort and physicality in the first half was excellent, but the execution and the kicking was nowhere near good enough. So expect to see some improvements from the Black and Whites in this half from that perspective. From Brian McDermott's side, from the Leeds Rhinos side, he feels they've controlled the ball really well. They've made the most of the ball in hand, and he wants to make sure that he keeps making the Hull team play off their own line, play in their half of the field, and they won't be able to score. Simple as that.
They've scored already in this second half of the Rhinos, and that kick hoisted high. Steve Michaels come for it and claims it and tries to go outside. Hardacre very nearly goes outside the pitch.
He's decent on his kick returns. Steve Michaels catches that ball, and then as soon as he gets it, he's got to focus on making some ground.
Here is Richard Whiting in his 12th season with Hull. Reliable player. Bowden gets the pass away. Oof. Comes off Sinfield, and Hull do get a break that time.
That's a bit of luck though, that, Bill.
Oh. Well, he got one in the last exchange with the referee, and Stevie Ward had one go for him and one go against him. Bowden offloads it. He's a big man, Josh Bowden. Big thighs on him.
Well, it was a penalty for Hull. Referee seeing a hand in there on that occasion to placate the black and white supporters. And now, can they break their duck here? Whiting. Delaney down low, Ward up high. Thompson, oh! Westerman went without it, and it was there for Joe Westerman.
What a let off for Leeds. You're right, he was through. The door was open, and he's dropped his chips. Look at this. Thompson threads Joe Westerman through the eye of the needle.
Well, he does a fabulous job, Thompson, because he pulls Jamie Peacock out of the line, and that nice little twos play, the soft hands at the line to set Joe Westerman free. 6 points gone a begging.
That was the best opportunity Hull have had in this entire game. How they needed that. They trailed by 16 points to 0.
Dylan, you've got to take those opportunities when you're playing against the Rhinos, who've outscored everybody in Super League this year, and the defence is strong as well. Whenever you're in good field position, you've got to make sure you come up with those points.
Joe Westerman without a try for a year, in actual fact. He was so close there. Be kicking himself. Paul Ayton. Oh, and the ball again comes free. Free play, but Hull can't capitalise on that. But it was good defence in the middle of the field, and Gareth Ellis gets the plaudits of his teammates. Talanoa really gave him a thump there.
Well, it's Gareth Ellis and Danny Houghton. I think Danny Houghton goes low here. Gareth Ellis over the top. He's got some biff in him, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's
Gareth
a heck
Ellis.
of a shot. That's how he's made. Look at the squat. He dips down, springs up, all shoulder, all impact. Great stuff.
Sort of Jimmy Kinehorst. You fancy yourself in the second row, do you? Here you go.
A bit of whiplash there for the youngster.
Well, Hull, that's the sort of incident, the sort of tackle that can lift aside. Close a moment ago, Jordan Thompson very nearly setting up Joe Westerman. Danny Houghton. Here is Liam Watts now. Big man in the middle of the field. Brett Delaney just slowing him as he tries to get off the ground. Ellis able to offload. Swarming defence from the Rhinos, but Hull able to keep it alive, and then a stray pass. The ball goes to ground, and Callum Watkins picks it up.
What do you think Lee Radford's thinking? Good field position, all the hard work. Gareth Ellis getting off the line, coming up with a good shot. Joe Westerman. Well, I'm a big fan of Joe Westerman, but it's not been his best game today.
Ryan Hall.
Please, come on, back up. Wait.
Lee Radford thinking about what might have been in the last few minutes for his side.
Move, line. Wait, Joe. Go.
Letting Leeds off the hook there is Peacock.
5. Release. Keep coming.
Peacock and Watts, 24 years of age, Liam Watts, maybe the next generation. Seems to have a great future, Liam Watts. Hardacre.
Not the best
Rankin,
kick there from
no,
Jack
it wasn't.
Hardacre.
Oh, and then, well, Talanoa wasn't really expecting that.
It's like warm weather rugby at the minute from Hull FC. Bit of a game of tick and pass. Get the ball, create a bit of space, just get rid of it. Now Payer and Watts on. They'll try and keep this tight in the middle third.
They look strong when those two front rows are on, Tez. I agree with you, Bill. I think international honours, surely he's desperately close come the end of the year, Liam Watts. Let's see what he's like at the next level. He's got another half of the season or third of the season to go yet.
Rankin stabs a kick in. Hardacre is going to have to retrieve that.
Oh, it's a knock-on.
Real fumble.
Yeah, was there a knock on?
It's a better kick from Hull.
And again, it's Watts, the number 10 for Hull FC, getting off the line. Was it a little fumble?
50-50. The 50-50 calls are going for Leeds.
Peacock.
And again, Leeds need to talk. Hull need to get themselves out of this and desperately block out those things that are going against them, up their intensity and try and match Leeds.
Delaney. Watts with the tackle. Paul Ayton. Sinfield under a bit of pressure this time.
One of the last 2 sets of 6 that Leeds Rhinos have kicked. Liam Watts is doing his job. A big strong carry from Tom Lynham.
Left Joel Moon on the deck there. Talanoa. The 2 wingers, although Talanoa operating in the centre. Setamata Sarr not able to start this game for Hull FC. Good run from Mickey Payer, good offload from Mickey Payer. Good hands from Hull, and Watts striding ahead for the black and whites. Now it's with Payer again. Oh, gone to ground.
Do you know when Kurt Yeaman goes from dummy half, there was nobody pushing up. I think the Hull FC side were just waiting back, and then when Mickey Payer realises, he tries to get up there, and he's the only one who pushes up, but the execution of that pass from Kirk Yeaman, it wasn't the best. The ball was dipping, he was under pressure, but they need more push, they need more reaction. A good play from Payer, a good run from Watts. He knows that the ball's not on, so he takes the tackle. Good play the ball, and Kirk Yeaman realised that, got out from dummy half.
That's 2 or 3 clear-cut chances now where Hull FC have dropped the ball.
They've had more opportunities in the second half so far than they had virtually in the entire first 40, Hull FC. You're not going to get that many against the Leeds Rhinos side in this sort of mood.
And as the clock ticks down, you start chasing the game. You're going to push that ball more because you know that there's no second chances when you're playing in the Challenge Cup.
Leeds just been under a little bit of pressure in the last 10 minutes or so. Hull's best phase of the game. Callum Watkins, score of the only try of this second half, when Hull let their guard slip. Burrow gets a good kick in, but Lynham fields it. Tom Lynham.
Oh, he's a big man. Lynham lines him up and knocks him over.
And then gets the offload away.
It's a fantastic return from Tom Lynham. You can see why Warrington took him across to Lancashire.
Here's Minicello. 4 defenders there for the Rhinos to stop his progress. They know the threat that Mark Minicello poses. Watts, good work from him again. The Hull supporters lifting as their front rower gets to side a few more yards. Good hands, finds Ellis, and Ellis was trying to get the pass away. Rankin was looking for it.
He offers himself in impossible situations, Gareth Ellis.
Price kicks over the top. Talanoa chasing
kick.
and Hall is pinned.
Big effort from Talanoa. Another well-weighted kick from Hull FC. Talanoa pushing up strong, chasing down this kick. Leon Price places that ball into the corner, and Ryan Hall under pressure as soon as he catches it.
Well, it's a good kick, but it's an even better chase. Ryan Hall can't gather it, he can't turn round, he can't take his eyes off the ball until he has hold of it. And the second he has hold of it, Talanoa pounces and puts him in the in goal. This is a good period for Hull FC.
This is Hull's first home game for nearly a month. Last time they were here, they lost narrowly to St Helens in Super League. Here they are trailing to the Leeds Rhinos, another side, well, the side from the top of the table. Good run from Jordan Abdul. He is strong.
He's powerful. He received the wide pass, steps off his left foot, looking for those lazy defenders inside.
Minicello. Danny Houghton scanning there, maybe thinking that there would have been an opportunity. Watts staggers a few more yards. Houghton, the pass is batted down, is it? And Hull will get it back. Peacock has claimed it, but there was a Leeds knock on.
Yeah, back to 1. Danny Houghton trying to get the ball free to Joe Westerman, and just the left arm from Jamie Peacock facing in. Could he have been beaten? If that ball gets to Joe Westerman, he's just got Zach Hardaker to beat.
Is he wearing lipstick, Peacock?
Come on now.
I'm glad you suggested
I wouldn't like
that.
to ask him.
I'm not asking him, I'm asking you.
Hull head and feed. Can they capitalise on this possession they're having at the moment? They've got Leeds on the defensive. They've broken the Leeds line a couple of times, but haven't been able to find the final pass. And Leeds forced onto the defensive here. Ellis sort of plays the ball, gets the penalty.
Well, he's such a big man, Gareth Ellis. You try to put him to ground. He's big, he's strong, he's committed every time he carries the ball.
Mickey Payer.
I feel a try for Hull coming now.
Payer plays the ball, he's back to the NRL next season. Ellis could be the man! He's just short, I think. And he's knocked it on, says the referee.
I think you mean the next set of 6, Barry. Well, Gareth Ellis
Would have scored, that's what I meant.
yeah,
Puts himself in a position. You said something in the last couple of sets of 6. He turns up for the difficult passes.
yeah.
He puts his body, puts his face and head where other people won't put the kit bag.
Do you know, he went down to Australia, played for West Tigers, was absolutely outstanding, named in West Tigers' greatest ever team. What an accolade that is.
Here is Ryan Hall. Well, Hull have stepped it up in the second half. Lee Radford has got his wish granted in that respect, but they still can't find a way through this Leeds defence.
Well, Andy Yates on some fresh legs now for Leeds Rhinos to help the go forward.
Watkins keeping it alive. Sinfield, weaving run from the captain. And Paul Ayton ducks under the first challenge, and still going Ayton. Nice hands back in feed to Joel Moon. Moon, languid sort of running style from Joel Moon, his socks round his ankles. Here goes Robbie Burrow. Burrow, the ball's batted down.
Gareth Ellis again. Gareth Ellis again. At the time when Hull FC are struggling just a little bit, the captain turns up.
Steve Michaels as Hull bring the ball away.
Oh, they've got a penalty here. And these are little things that you want, the urgency to get up and play the ball. You're trying to get to your feet. You've got a couple of Leeds defenders that are all over you. He lands on his front, you can see the penalty there. That's why James Child awards it.
You watch here. It's Gareth Ellis who runs from marker, whacks the ball out of Rob Burrow. If he doesn't make that tackle, it's obvious to say, well, that's a try and possibly the game for Leeds. The Hull FC captain, Gareth Ellis, doing his best to keep his side in this cup tie.
But they need points on the board. They need to eat into this Leeds Rhinos lead into the final quarter of this game. And Leeds 16-0 up. A great ball. Great ball finds Westerman, and Westerman, oh, good tackle, and he loses the ball. Hardacre, I think it was, gets the plaudits of his teammates, and Joe Westerman so close that time.
Tragedy again for Lee Radford. How many times have they broken the line of Leeds Rhinos? Wonderful offload from Liam Watts. All he has to do is break Zach Hardacre's tackle, and Zach Hardacre lunging in a last gasp attempt. What an offload that is from Liam Watts. He tries to round the fullback. Tragic for Hull FC.
Leeds, well, they're living on the edge in this second half. 16-0 up, but it's not quite as comfortable as it might seem. Big week of action coming up next week. Hull Kingston Rovers against Salford, Tuesday 8 o'clock, available on the Sky Sports for the iPads app and Sky Sports Extra as well. And Wakefield against Hull FC Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and both those games, go to skysports.com/extra, log in using your Sky ID and password. You can also watch both matches via the Sky Sports for iPad app. Simply log in and navigate to your dedicated rugby league section. It's all there for you. Next week, 2 midweek matches, those catch-up games.
This back to 1 here, I think.
How many knock-ons in this passage of play?
Well, I think the first knock-on comes from... Does it come from Hull FC, or even if it goes back off Leon Price? Yeah, Hull FC get the ball. The ball comes back from Leon Price. Here's the offload. So because Leon Price makes a play for it, but it comes back, and then Ryan Hall gets the ball, regathers it, and Leeds Rhinos knock the ball on.
Some skyline over towards the city centre here in Hull. In fact, we can see it, the city bathed in a red glow and a rainbow, but the pot of gold at the moment seems to be in possession of the Leeds Rhinos. Mickey Payer Hull, well, you've got to say they've stepped it up in this second half. An improvement from them, apart from in the finishing.
Yeah, they've had decent push around the ball, they've had good shape. It's probably just been a couple of the last plays and maybe just the grip on the ball has let them down.
Here is Leon Price. Ellis. Right arm cocked if there was an offload available. Back with Price. Jordan Rankin. Rankin, wrong foot. Rob Burrow cuts back across the field. Westerman, Houghton. Back with Rankin again now. He's done well for Hull tonight, Jordan Rankin.
He's been
playing
one
in
of
the
their
fullback
best.
role.
He's been one of their best, Bill. He's continually asked questions, whether he's been near his own line. It's a shame for Hull FC again. They have not given up. They've shown bags of effort. And I'm sure Lee Radford, at the end of the game, no matter which way it goes, he'll be glad of how they've applied themselves.
Jordan Abdul's kick just ricocheting, and it comes up for the Leeds side.
Mark. Wait.
Paul Ayton,
Go 3.
first PNG winner at Wembley last year, Paul Ayton.
Wait. Go.
Adrian Lam and Marcus Bay had done it before, but Ayton, there he is, went to Wembley
Come on, Mickey.
with the Rhinos.
Go.
Those Leeds fans at that end of the ground to which the ball is heading will be thinking that perhaps there's another Wembley trip beckoning. Semi-final appearance to come by the look of things, because they Hull just cannot find the final punch.
You can just never write the Rhinos off, can you? With the talent that they've got, with the composure that they play with the professionals that they've had that have got plenty of miles on the clock, but they know exactly what to do, whether to speed up the game, to close the game down.
Yeaman gets the pass away to Minicello. Paul Ayton there with the tackle. Houghton. Theka Paliasina is on the field and flings an offload backwards, and Ellis receives the pass. Quick hands. There was another Leeds hand in there, I think. Tom Lynham, the referees wipe the tackle count clean. Lynham flings it back infield. Still play on, still the free play. Houghton, Danny Houghton still, and now Ellis. So 6 to go for Hull FC. Can they turn this into points?
Oh, he does well. Oof, no, he's out of the field of play, but it was the free play anyway. So Hull FC would have had the ball back.
He's still out of the field of play.
Yeah, but they still would have had the ball back.
But they managed to make progress. They made a good few yards. Westerman, the ball squirts out.
Oh, rubber the head, Joe Westerman. So close to the line yet again. Well, he made his debut back in 2007, Joe Westerman. He's still only 25 years of age.
To be fair, he's putting himself
He
there.
is, he is,
He's been there.
Do you know what? The work that he does, not only in attack, he leads by example. He plays in that middle unit, but he's a very creative player. And he's also done 44 tackles in this game.
And it's very easy as a player, when things aren't going with you and you're making mistakes, to just go into your shell and think, do you know what, I'm just going to stop doing the high-risk things and just take a back seat. Joe Westerman's not that type of player. Got plenty of character.
Watkins, little shimmy from the Rhinos centre. But Steve Michaels eventually makes the tackle. Ash Handley. Handley plays the ball. Oof, Ellis.
He's like an exocet missile, isn't he? Has he hurt Joe Westerman there?
Westerman clutching his shoulders, just running through the shot. Singleton plays the ball.
He didn't like something, did he, Joe Westerman?
No.
He's had the lot. He's had drop balls, missed tackles. He's hurt his shoulder.
Delaney plays the ball. Sinfield. That one over the dead ball line. Leeds, for the first time in some time, have got Hull coming out of deep in their own half.
And I think Joe Westerman's leaving the field here. I think it's Jordan Thompson who's going to be coming on for him.
Here's Paliacina. There is Joe Westerman, rueful look on his face. He's been busy. That was forward, I think. Yep. Minicello looks at the referee and says, oh, come on.
Well, that's been the tail of the game, hasn't it? Minicello overruns that pass. You can see that Danny Howell, when he picks the ball up, he's trying to engage the markers. And by getting out and taking those extra couple of steps, when you're running onto the ball, you need to just buy a bit of time and make sure you let the hooker do the job. But it's easier said than done when you're chasing the game, when you just want to gain some meters.
Danny Houghton up to 50 tackles now. He's had a heck of a game defensively, but that's because Hull FC have made the mistakes and had to do more defending than Leeds.
Well, Leeds look on course for their 15th semi-final in 20 summer seasons. It's some record that is from the Rhinos. The clock really against Hull now. Paliacina puts the shoulder in, but Yates managed to cling on to possession. Now Burrow scampering. Leeds looking for the try that will see off this whole challenge. It's been a stronger challenge from the black and whites in the second half, but they haven't been able to get past this Leeds rear guard. They'll be kicking themselves over a couple of opportunities when they could have done that. But here comes Leeds. Kurt Yeaman.
Wow.
And Stevie Ward hits the heights there. Little grubber kick, and Jordan Rankin denies the Leeds chasers.
You can't doubt Hull FC's effort in this game. Again, another little kick, the pressure. Here's the hit from Kurt Yeaman. He gets right underneath Stevie Ward, takes him to ground. Another set of 6 now in their half. Can they keep the Rhinos out? Oh, a shot from Jordan Thompson.
Holy moly.
Andy Yates just, well, felt a bit tender by the look of things when he stood up then, Andy Yates.
Well, you can't run the ball in casually, can you? If Gareth Ellis or Jordan Thompson's in front of you.
I think I would.
Well, if you did, Bill, you'd get knocked over.
Here comes Rob Burrow, and Burrow trying to pierce the Hull defence. They keep it alive. Hardacre, Zach Hardacre, and Hardacre will cross. And Leeds now surely have booked a semi-final place. Hull claiming that that wasn't grounded, but Hardacre, there's no doubt about that. 7th of the season for Zach Hardacre. Words for Kylie Luluai from Brian McDermott. And the smiles from Leeds say it all. The noise from their supporters says it all. The look on the whole coaching team's faces says it all. Leeds are heading for the semi-finals courtesy of that Zach Hardacre try.
Outstanding rugby league from the Challenge Cup holders. A nice line, nice footwork from Jimmy Kinehorse, who feeds the scrum half Rob Burrow, who tips it up. A bit of a speculator to the skipper Kevin Sinfield. And Zach Hardacre shows all the determination in the world, avoiding defenders. Wonderful play. It's a simple drop-off from the captain, who stays in the frame and picks up off Rob Burrow. How many times over the years have we said that? Sinfield to Burrow, Burrow to Sinfield, and Hardacre finishes off an outstanding try. Wonderful stuff.
Well, the composure yet again shown from this Leeds Rhinos side. They never know when they're beaten. They keep turning up for each other, and it's been a real team performance this evening.
Zach Hardacre applauding, and probably applauding Jimmy Kinehorse, because he's been playing in the second row last couple of weeks.
He was brilliant last week,
He's had
Bill.
to wait. He has. He's had to be patient.
Yeah, he was brilliant last week.
2012 against the Warrington Wolves in the final was Jimmy Kinehorse's last cup appearance. He's contributed tonight as Kevin Sinfield maintains nearly a 100% record. One miss from Sinfield tonight, and Leeds celebrating 2 misses.
And
in fact,
sorry, Bill, you're right to give a pat on the back to Jimmy Kinehorse, because he doesn't panic when he offloads that ball. He buys a bit of time and just stays upright. Hull FC go for that short kick-off, but Ryan Hall one of the best exponents of catching those high balls, comes up, offers himself and helps some of the lads up who were stood just 10 metres from halfway.
So Hull heading for more Challenge Cup heartache. They lost to Salford in that memorable Golden Point extra time defeat last season in the 4th round. High shot from Paliacina on Andy Yates, and Hull's, well, it's going to be concentrating on a top 8 finish, the focus for Hull FC now.
And 2 points for Leeds Rhinos here. Kevin Sinfield, he hit the crossbar in a similar position earlier on in the second half, just taking his time, getting plenty of fluids down. He knows that this game is well and truly in the bag, so just let the clock tick down, waste a bit of time, and it's mission accomplished for them in this quarter-final.
And here's the kick from Kevin Sinfield.
That's the one that hit the post.
Almighty player. I heard one of the Leeds fans in front of us shout, "Where's Jordan Tanzi when you need him?" Thinking back to that great magic weekend
at Wakefield now. Jordan Tanzi, one of today's signings for Brian Smith. Sinfield determined to get this one over, having hit the post, and he does. That was still travelling and hit the ground just in front of the stand there where those Leeds supporters are sitting, saluting Sir Kevin. And another 2-pointer.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Kevin Sinfield didn't need Jordan Tanzi on that one. It's been a masterful display. Of course, we talked about Danny Maguire, Liam Sutcliffe, 2 players who he's been competing with throughout 2015 to get one of the half-back spots, and he's stepped in, controlled this game, and had a massive influence on it.
For Hull, it's going to be a story of what might have been in this second half, because they couldn't get a look in really in the first half. The second half they did get a look in. They had a look at the Leeds Rhinos line on a couple of occasions, but just couldn't finish off.
Bill, they've tried right the way through this game, and even in the first half it was the mistakes, it was the penalties. In the second half they've had enough opportunities close to the line, but again it's just those mistakes.
Well, can they at least break their duck, avoid being nilled in this cup semi-final, this cup quarter-final? Leeds will be determined to keep them on 0. Here is Whiting. Tom Lynham. They've kept him quiet tonight. Tom Lynham, the danger man. Josh Bowden. Houghton. Price, Jordan Abdul, little step from Jordan Abdul, strength, and they have got off the mark. They have got points on the board, and Jordan Abdul has given a glimpse of his great promise there with that try, the 19-year-old. His second of the season, but too little too late. Lee Radford recognises that. What might have been for Hull in this second half. Rankin is going to tee it up very quickly, but like I said, it's come too late for the black and whites.
Well, I predict a big future for Jordan Abdul. Not afraid, not intimidated. As you rightly say, it's a just reward for a game where he's tried his best, tried things, good footwork, good balance, a good try-scorer's instinct as well. Sadly, not enough for Hull FC on the day, but he'll remember that, I'm sure.
Former Skirler amateur Jordan Abdul, who was a member of the England Academy side that performed so well against the Australians last December. And he should get a look in next time out as well, with Mark Sneed out. And Hull just managed to keep that one alive. It's good work from Tommy Lynham, in fact, to do that. Jordan Abdul slowly to his feet.
Another almighty collision. Brad Singleton on Mickey Payer. And there's a ball strip, and young Robbie Ward is in a place he does not want to be, being shoved around by Mickey Payer. He's thinking, I'm a rugby player, get me out of here. They're trying to get the big man to ground. And as I say, Robbie Ward will be thankful that Mickey Payer doesn't have enough energy to throw anything.
Houghton, that's one for Tom Lynham to chase. Lynham up the line, little kick ahead from Tom Lynham, but Zach Hardacre just manages to get there first. Here's Ryan Hall. Well, no try for Ryan Hall tonight. And Joel Moon set the ball rolling for the Rhinos with that first try, and that's the key, been the key, that first half performance from Leeds. 10-0 up they were at half-time, and they've never really been shaken. Their defence was tested at times in this second half.
And that was because of the effort and endeavour that Hull FC have played with, but as we've said on a number of occasions, their execution, Lee Radford, off the back of last weekend, he said our execution needs to be better, and that's the story of this week. They broke the line, they put themselves in a position, and that man Jordan Rankin, he's not stopped trying. He's been good.
He has, hasn't he? He's led from the back.
He's led from the back, absolutely. There's been good performance throughout this Hull FC team, and even players like Joe Westerman, although he's made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure he'll look back on this game and say I can play better than that. He hasn't given up. There's no white flags and nobody looking for the long grass, and that's what Lee Radford will want Josh Bowden making a mistake.
At the same time, that's been another character of this whole performance, hasn't it? They've coughed the ball up more often than Leeds have.
And I know it's easy to say, but Leeds Rhinos, the majority of their players have been in those pressure games. They've handled that pressure cooker situation, and they know what to do, and it's up to Hull FC to try and learn from this experience and move forward.
There's Robbie Ward getting his first taste of action of the season. In fact, he's been doing a lot of work for Hunslet in a dual reg role. Sinfield passes the responsibility on to Hardacre. I thought they were going to go for 1 point then for a moment. Here's Ablett. The clock counting down into the last minute here. Leeds heading for another Challenge Cup semi-final, the holders. And it's a very, for the most part, a very professional job, especially when you think the number of players out. Danny Maguire sitting in the stand here, so too is Cuthbertson.
And all the big decisions have gone through the mind of Kevin Sinfield. Perfect weather. Kevin Sinfield throughout those big games, those grand finals, has played off the back of a good kicking game, and Leeds Rhinos have profited from the intelligent kicking game, the intelligent passing game that he's had and brought with him today.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan here as well. Cuthbertson, Danny Maguire. So that's unfortunate. I mean, it's all unfortunate they're injured, but Danny Maguire has been in great form this season. Liam Sutcliffe, we hear, out for the remainder of the season after that ligament injury that he sustained last week. Michaels kicks ahead. Hardacre, one of the try scorers in this Leeds Rhinos victory that has sent them through to a 15th semi-final in 20 summer seasons. That is some performance. Kevin Sinfield guiding the side round the field and guiding the side once more into the semi-finals. Hardacre, one of those second half try scorers in a second half that was a lot tougher than the first 40 minutes was in terms of what the opposition threw at them. Joel Moon, scorer of the first try of this game that set the Rhinos on their way. It was Hull who needed a big start. It was Leeds who got it from Joel Moon, and that was a key as well. It's a story really of what might have been for the Black and Whites, as a familiar tale for their supporters. And Leeds, well, top of the table and heading for another semi-final. Is a double on the cards. Kevin Sinfield, man of the match. Rupert Thacker from the sponsors Ladbrokes presents him with his champagne. And a quick word with Angela now.
Man of the match, nice to start and nice to get a place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was all about getting the win tonight. I think it's always tough playing a team twice on the bounce. We expected to come here and have a bit of a backlash, and I think they threw a whole lot at us. the conditions played a part here tonight, and just got to be in the semis now.
You're right about the conditions, but it wasn't a scoreline that kind of reflected the game. They had their chances but couldn't execute.
No, and we did, certainly in that second half, we had to do a lot of defence in our own 50, and I thought our big men stood up again. It had to be a team effort tonight. Back three carried the ball great. But I think we stood up, disappointed to concede that try at the end, but a good team win tonight.
Thanks very much for that, Kevin.
Thank you.
We've now got Gareth Ellis from Hull FC. Gareth, your coach said, you know, effort was perfect, excellent, but it was the execution, it really told in that game.
Yeah, it's what's been costing us over the last few weeks, and you can't make that many errors and bomb that many opportunities against a side like Leeds, and every time they got up there at our end, they put some points on the board, and it just shows, you know, they've been there before and been in tough situations before, and it showed tonight.
That's the case. You've got to really pick up now and move on with a really tight turnaround.
Yeah, we've got Wakefield now back-to-back Wednesday, Sunday, I think, so we've got to just pick ourselves up. An opportunity lost, obviously, in the Challenge Cup now, but we're in a position now where we're fighting for that Super 8 position, so all our attention turns to that now.
Do you feel as though you've got what it takes to push up the table now?
Yeah, you know, like Radders has said, you know, the effort's outstanding. You know, we can't fault that. I thought we played really well in patches, but just the amount of errors we're making at the minute is just not giving us a chance to win the game, and something we need to put right sooner rather than later.
Thanks for that, Gareth. We've next got the winning coach, Brian McDermott, to come and have a word with us post-match. Brian, you really wanted that win, you got that win, you nearly nailed them, and you're in a semi-final.
Yeah, no, it's been a great night. Tough place to come. Weather had it put pay to everybody's plans tonight. Everybody had to change, and thankfully we did a little bit better than Hull did with the ball, and I think that was the deciding factor. Really, I don't think it came down to Hull's lack of effort or game plans or anything. It just sometimes it goes with you. I remember coming in one of the final league games last year, and it was almost right role reversal because it was the same weather, and we didn't handle the ball well at all, and we lost that game.
This is one of those games where you really want to get into a semi-final, but you also want to show that you can be better than you were last week. You weren't fully happy with that win last week.
No. You know, there were some periods, especially in the second half, where you're just not going to get away with that type of defence, especially towards the back end of the year. But I know the conditions helped us tonight, but defensively we pretty much shut Hull out of the game, which is the pleasing thing.
Thanks very much for that, Brian.
Well, defensively, they were pleasing indeed. One try to Hull FC, that coming from Jordan Abdul with just 5 minutes left in the game. Well, testament to that. Well, here's the tail of the tape. It was a half-time lead for the visitors, 10 points to 0. And that Callum Watkins try, just 2 minutes into the second half, was what clinched it in the end. Almost 10,000 in the stadium here. They made some noise, especially when the decisions went against them, Terry O'Connor. Let's look at that Callum Watkins try that really broke the hearts of Hull FC fans early in the second half.
Yeah, as you say, you come out of the changing rooms, you've been poor in the first half, you've made mistakes, you've given penalties away. You don't want to start the first 2 minutes in the second half like this and conceding a try. Callum Watkins is a fabulous player, fabulous talent. Kevin Sinfield had a hand in that, and I thought that he led them round the pitch. The mistakes that Hull FC made in this game did give that field position to them. I just thought they played on the back foot, Brian, all game.
Yeah, they did. They didn't give themselves too much of a chance. So that Callum Watkins one was followed up then by a Zach Hardacre try, Terry. This was 10 minutes to go in the game, and it showing the ability of this Leeds Rhinos side to keep the ball alive.
Do you know, that offload from Jimmy Carnos, that's what a mature player does. He doesn't panic, he still buys a bit of time. He knows that there's going to be some support that's going to be pushing up with him, but he keeps on his feet.
Young Hull FC fan Sam was beside us, and he gave a huge cheer for this one. This Jordan Abdul try. The 19-year-old has plenty of talent, Terry, but not the greatest of games with his boot. Good kicking game, didn't come off tonight.
No, Brian, when you looked at some of the key men that were playing in this game for Hull FC, they were targeting in defence. I thought Leeds Pack were going to be under some pressure this evening, but they just stuck to the job. And when you have so many players that have been around the blocks, they've got so many miles on the clock, they just know how to close games down.
I want to talk to you about two of them in particular. There was no Liam Sutcliffe out with an injury for the rest of the season. No Danny Maguire, he picked up an injury in the victory over Hull FC last week. So you bring in Kevin Sinfield and Rob Burrow, over 1,000 career games. Tell me about Kevin Sinfield's contribution tonight.
Kevin Sinfield, I would say, has been the best Leeds player in the Super League era. Just the way he goes around, does his business, the way he just controls the pitch, his game management, his his kicking game, whether it be on the third play, the fourth play, he knows how to put pressure on the opposition. And then when you're bringing the ball away 10 yards from your line, we saw it in this corner, we saw it in the other corner in the first half, it's very slippy conditions, and you've got forwards running off the line, trying to belt you, trying to knock you into knock sweep. Kevin knows what the psyche goes through players' minds, and he knew that worked, and that really hindered the Hull FC side tonight, I thought.
Well, we can hear from the Hull FC coach Lee Radford now. He's talking to Angela.
Lee, you said at half-time that the effort was there, everything else was in place. It was just that execution and making sure you took the chances, if only you'd taken the chances.
Yeah, look, no qualms whatsoever. I'd like to congratulate Leeds Rhinos and wish them all the best in the next round. We didn't deserve to go through, and like I said to you at half-time, my team talk at the end of last week's game was exactly the same as my half-time team talk this week. We, over the 160-minute period of playing the Rhinos twice, we haven't had a good enough skill set, and that has shown unbelievably tonight.
It's like you say, though, it's not the lack of ability, skill, it's everything's there. It's just getting that ball over the line.
Yeah, but that's the difference between the best sides and the mid-table sides, and that's where we're at the moment. That's what we've got to fix up. The challenge for us is to try and get that fixed for Wednesday. Again, physically and mentally, we've got to try and recharge ourselves as quick as we can, because we don't get time to dwell on it, unfortunately.
Thanks for talking.